Page 2. The workflow diagram, although it doesn't look like it, is divided into 4 sections. All right? And you'll notice up here, collect. I want you to put a C next to the in basket because you collect things. Now, some things are collected automatically, some things you have to collect manually. But the point here is you have a collection system. What are some of the collection systems out there besides an in basket? What else? Email in basket, right? Inbox. What else?
Voicemail.
Voicemail.
Regular mail.
Regular mail. Absolutely. Anybody still getting faxes?
Yes.
All right. I mean, look at all the different collection points. And so we're going to just generally say that stuff comes in, and we're going to generally describe that as the in basket. If you put a C next to that if you haven't already. All right, process. You start processing at what is it? So P. Put a P next to what is it. You have to understand what it is, whether it's an email or a sticky note on your monitor, you have to understand what it is. Is it actionable? Please put a P next to that one. Is it actionable? We have to figure out, all right, is this something we can do now? Is this something that I'm ever going to be able to take action on? If the answer is yes, what's the next action? Put a P next to that. We're still processing. Will it take less than 2 minutes? Now, I think this is one of the major benefits of the workflow diagram. I know that you're doing something very similar to this already. You may not call it a workflow diagram. You may not have every aspect or angle that this has. But I think one of the most unique things is, will it take less than 2 minutes? By the way, your threshold for figuring out if you're going to do it right now or put it off till later, maybe 3 minutes, maybe it's 5 minutes. But the point here is we have to answer the question, all right, am I going to do it now? And David recommends 2 minutes as the threshold. If you're not going to do it now, that is, you know what? It's actually going to take 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. The answer is no. You might delegate it, you might defer it. Anyway, all those square boxes should have P's next to them for process. All the rounded boxes, please put O for organize. In other words, you really haven't processed all of this stuff that we have at the top until you've got it organized in some way. So for example, if you've delegated something, and how many of you have the opportunity to delegate to somebody? All right, not all of us can, but some of the hands went up. So what are you going to do? All right, are you going to trust them completely, or are you going to follow up? We suggest that you might want to follow up with them. Some people you will trust completely, others you will follow up. That's waiting. If you don't like that name, waiting means it's going to sit there and you're going to follow up with it at some point. Now defer it, you'll notice under defer it, calendar, everybody has a calendar. How many use Outlook calendar? Anybody using Lotus Notes still? All right, looks like Outlook has one. Microsoft is taking over there.
There's another option.
What's another option?
E-dockets.
E-dockets? How many are using e-dockets? All right, okay. It's still serving you well, isn't it? All right. Now, I'm going to have you do an exercise in a moment. But before we do, I just wanted to point out that on pages 3 and 4, we have a lot of detail that we really don't need to go into right now. But if you wanted to find out more about this process, this workflow diagram, we have a lot of detail here. All right? I kind of want to get you started on the exercise, and then what we'll do is we'll come back, and I'm just going to point out a couple of things in the detail on pages 3 and 4. So here's the exercise. The same teams that you had a moment ago. All right? Same teams. Question is, does one size fit all? Does David Allen's workflow diagram work for all of us? Can we all use this? And can we use it for US mail, email, faxes, bosses, sticky notes on the monitor, as I said earlier? Here's what I'd like you to do. In the same teams, and I know I have it divided into sections 1 and 2, but once I got in the room, I decided it'd be better to do it this way. So here's the deal. The teams on this side of the room, and where you divide it, generally this will be section 1. The teams toward the back, section 2. All right. I want you to, in a moment, take an email and or a request from a coworker through the workflow diagram. So stuff would be email or request. Now you're going to have to make something up. Maybe an email that you got earlier today. Maybe an email you got last week that was especially challenging. It doesn't matter. This side of the room, sections 1 and 2, what I'd like you to do is work on an email and or a request from a coworker.